Good afternoon, everyone. Hope all of you are well. Can all of you see and hear me clearly? If you can see and hear me clearly, if you just type in yes into the chat box. Hi, Uday. Great. Okay. So welcome to our seminar on advanced tax. And before we start, if any of you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Mohammed, Tina, any questions before we start? Uday? Did all of you have a good new year? Hi, Uday. Yeah, great. I'm glad to see you. You had a good new year. Okay, happy new year to you as well. Yes, yeah. So what I've decided to do now is obviously try and support uh, my existing students, but even my older students, you see, sorry, my qualified students rather, with tax knowledge, but knowledge sharing as well, motivation and inspiration. So that's all available to you on social media. Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you guys before we start is what kind of topics would you be interested in hearing about in terms of online seminars? Okay. So if you can think of anything, let me know before we start. One of the other options. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Mohammed. Okay, yeah. So Mohammed, there are no sittings in May, okay? So there's obviously March, June, September, and December, okay? So March, June, September, and December, yeah. So Mohammed, yeah, if you're planning on sitting it in June, for example, just be aware that there's going to be a new Finance Act, okay? So there's going to be Finance Act 2020. For those of you who are sitting the exam, would you be interested in a Finance Act update? So Finance Act update telling you what the changes are, okay? So that's something I was thinking that might be quite useful, okay? So Finance Act updates that on the new Finance Act, yeah. Oh yeah, Mohammed, you're planning on sitting it in March, yeah, okay, great, yeah. So March, Mohammed, is Finance Act 2019, but obviously June will be Finance Act 2020. Okay, good, yeah. Yeah, Tina, you're not too certain yet. Yeah. So, you know, what you have to do is get a feel for the paper. So what I'll be doing is giving you a good idea of what advanced tax is all about today. Okay. And then you can make a decision as to what you want to do. Yeah. So as you know, you've got a choice of 4 papers, advanced tax. You've got a choice of advanced audit, advanced financial management, and advanced performance management. Okay, so these are your choices. So tax, audit, financial management, and performance management. So one thing I would say, if any of you are not certain which one you're going to do, yeah, yeah, so today I'm going to give you a good idea of what the advanced tax exam is going to be like. I'm also going to show you recommendations and tips you can use to pass this exam. I'm actually going to show you what the computer-based exam will be like, okay? Because obviously, you know, most of you will be sitting computer-based exams. I'll be showing you the skill set required. I'll also be covering some technical aspects, okay? So showing you what advanced tax is all about. Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, so we'll make it as interactive and enjoyable as possible, okay? Good. Yeah, so these are your choices, guys. So you've got 4 papers there: advanced tax, advanced audit, advanced performance management, and advanced financial management. I would say looking at the skills papers. So obviously you should have done the skills papers by now, or perhaps you may be currently doing them. Out of the 4, which one did you find easiest? Okay. So that's one of the criteria to use, you see. You know, for instance, let's say you found performance management quite easy, you enjoyed that paper, then perhaps, you know, you should go on and do advanced performance management. Okay. If you found tax, you know, a great paper, the first tax paper, the skills paper, then what I'd recommend you do is, you know, do advanced tax. Okay. So do you guys want to tell me what papers you found easy at the skills level? You know, audit, performance management, financial management, or tax? Which one did you like the most? Can you guys type in your answers into the chat box, guys? Okay. So remember, try and join in. Okay, try and join in. Yeah. Ah, okay, great, great. So you guys completed advanced audit, and the last paper is advanced tax. Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay, Tina, yeah, this was your easiest, absolutely. Then performance management, absolutely, yeah. So what we're saying is that, you know, to be honest with you, I'm biased. Okay, I'm biased. I love tax. Okay, I absolutely love tax. It's such a great subject. I feel it's real life. It's practical. It's something everyone is concerned about. So you know, the once you learn tax skills, people tend to use it in their own personal lives for their family members. They then, you know, give tax advice to other people. But it's a great subject. Okay, so it's not an easy subject by any means, but it's a great subject. Okay. So I think at the end of the day, you have to do, yeah, absolutely. Yes. So Mohammed, I'll be giving you some tips today on how to revise for tax. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Welcome, Paul. Welcome, Debbie. Hi, Pretty. Yeah, guys. So we're going to have lots of people joining now. Okay. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff to cover, guys. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to cover. And one thing I'll be telling you about today is something I'm working on purely because of that. I would say about 5 or 10 years ago, we used to have lots and lots of students, well, hundreds of students coming to London from all around the world. They used to come and attend my courses, okay? But now, obviously, it's much more difficult. And obviously, under the pandemic, it's impossible. So what I'm planning on doing is producing something that will have all the material that you need, okay? And that's what I'm currently working on. And I'll be telling you a little bit more about that today, which some of you might find useful, okay? Mohammed, one of the recommendations I would give you if you're studying tax, what's important is to try and focus on the essential knowledge, okay? So one of the things I feel that one of the mistakes students tend to make is they tend to try and think that they're going to learn everything, okay? And if you try and learn everything, it's impossible, okay? There's just so much to learn. So today I'll be showing you how you can go about your preparation for the exam, okay? Have any of you read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey? Any of you read that? No, Tina, you haven't. Uday has. Good. Yeah, that's one of the Bibles, if you like, of management. Okay. Now, one of the things, guys, is don't worry, Tina, if you haven't had a chance to read through it. If you link with me on LinkedIn, what you'll find is I tend to try and put a lot of leadership skills, motivation, inspiration, and I tend to share this knowledge on LinkedIn. Okay, so if you just connect with me on social media, guys, you'll find that I tend to put a lot of stuff there, and you can benefit from this, because I know what it's like when you're studying for professional exams. One of the issues you have is time. Okay, there's never enough time. Many of you guys will be struggling with managing your time. So another thing that I tend to do is I tend to talk about time management. Okay, so I tend to do a lot of time management skills, leadership, motivation, inspiration, lots of things. Okay. By the way, guys, I wanted to ask you, under the pandemic, do any of you guys find that you have got more anxious and more worried? That's what I want to ask. Do any of you guys find you've got more anxious and more worried under the pandemic? Mohammed, you're saying no. Good. Yeah. Gabby's saying yes. Yeah. So one of the things we've noticed is many, particularly professional students under the pandemic, they've started getting quite anxious, and worried and so on. So once again, guys, I do appreciate this. It's something many people are struggling with. So one thing I believe in is mental health. Okay, I believe in mental health, and I feel apart from keeping your physical health going, you also have to take care of your mental health. So you'll find I do lots of interesting material on worrying, anxiety, and lots of stuff like that. Okay, so all these resources are available to you. Yeah, yes, Mohammed, that's a very valid point you've made. The one thing the pandemic has introduced is a lot of uncertainty. So we're not sure what's happening. I mean, to be honest with you guys, in the UK, we've now started having the vaccine. Okay, so in the UK now we've started having the vaccine. How do you guys feel about the vaccine, by the way? Would you guys have the vaccine if you're offered the vaccine? Guys, would you take the vaccine? What do you think? Guys, I want you to start communicating with me through the chat box. Okay, yes, Gabby is saying she would. Mohammed is saying he would. Yeah, so those of you who've not talked to me, Ahmed is saying he's not sure. Yeah, I think it might be a good idea to wait for some time if you're not sure. But ultimately, I think, perhaps Shella is saying, yes, absolutely. Hi, Brian. Nice to see you here. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Pretty saying she's ready for the vaccine. Okay. Um, yeah, great. Yeah. So we've actually got quite a lot of students who are planning on joining. Take a guess as to how many students we have who want to come for this online seminar, guys. Take a guess. 55, about 10,000. I mean, yeah, I'm part qualified UDay. Yeah, yeah, basically, absolutely. 100 plus. No, no, yeah. So, what, so not 100, yeah, but about 90, yeah. So about 90, yes. So we'll have about 90. But one of the things we have, one of the issues we have is that um, because the seminar is free at times, what happens is people tend to enroll on it, but they don't come, you see. So that's one of the challenges I'm facing as well. So going forward, I'll be asking your opinion on this. Okay, guys, so it's 13:28, so we'll be starting in 2 minutes. Before we kick off, hi Albert, hi Albert, hi Ahmed. Yeah, absolutely, guys. So any of you guys have any more questions for me before we kick off, let me know, guys. Okay. So if any of you guys have any more questions with me. So today I'm going to show you some techniques you can use in terms of covering the material. Have any of you guys managed to, did anyone manage to download the specimen paper from the ACCA website? Did anyone manage to do that? So download the specimen paper from the ACCA website. Yes, Gabby. Yes, Rashmi. Excellent. Good, good. So so absolutely great, guys. So remember, guys, because of security, by the way, security, things like GDPR and so on, I have to protect all of you, okay? So I have to protect all of you. So just be aware when you're on this, you can't actually share your video where you are, okay? So, you're protected. Just make sure this is a safe environment for all of you. You're protected, your identity is protected, your personal details are protected. And all you will see is you will see my screen and you'll see my video and voice, okay? And the way we communicate, guys, is we communicate using the chat panel, okay? So just make sure if you're comfortable with using the chat panel. So we do this in order to create a safe environment for all of you, okay? So remember, this is a safe environment, yeah. So all your, no one can see you or anything like that. Remember, this is a safe environment, okay? Excellent, good, okay. So yes, I do know some of you, like I know Belgian, for example. So welcome to this seminar. So guys, at times, because people are logging in at the last minute, I may have to just pause a little bit to admit them to this. So once again, the reason we're doing this, the reason I'm following these protocols is for security purposes, okay? So remember, this is a safe environment, so we're using all the Zoom encryption and so on, and that's to protect all of you and protect me as well. Yeah. Okay, so it's now come up to 1:30. Okay, I just want to know, guys, can any of you guys who can you type in the countries you're dialing in from? Okay, so any of you guys want to share the countries? Yeah, UK. Okay, Malaysia. We've got someone from Malaysia. Lots of UKs here. Excellent. Good, good, good. So primarily, it seems we've got UK-based students. Okay. Yeah, so primarily we have UK-based students. Excellent. Debbie's saying, yo, we've got someone from India as well. So welcome, guys. So one thing I want you guys all to know is the ACCA is a very inclusive qualification, okay? So the ACCA and the tutors and the body, we love people from all around the world, okay? Like I said, a few years ago, we used to have students coming to the UK to study, and my class used to be like the UN, okay? It literally was like the United Nations. We had people from all around the world. Interestingly, we used to have very few students from South America. Yeah. Yes, so Miriam, I'm actually yeah. Okay, so Miriam, this is what I'm finding out. So yeah, so Miriam has said, yeah, Ahmed remembers that. Yeah, Miriam has said she teaches children at 2 p.m. on Sundays. Absolutely, yes. So this is what yeah. So remember, if you, I'm trying to use all the functionality of Zoom Pro, so I'm hoping to record the lecture and also make it available to you. Okay, great. Okay, great. So let's now make a start, guys. It's come up to 1:30 here. So in terms of passing advanced tax, let's start by taking a look at the exam. Okay. So as I told you earlier, Stephen Covey wrote this book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one thing he said is start with the end in mind. Okay. So you must always start with the end in mind. So if you're planning a trip, what is your destination? Okay, so let's start by taking a look at the actual exam. So the exam will be a 3-hour, 15-minute exam. And generally now, like I said, the ACCA is moving to computer-based exams, okay? And the pandemic has accelerated that, so all of you will be sitting a computer-based exam. So today I'll be giving you some tips and techniques as to how to actually manage that computer-based exam. Advanced tax mixes up all the different taxes, okay? So it mixes up all the different taxes, income tax, capital gains tax, inheritance tax, corp tax, VAT, national insurance, and SDLT. Can any of you guys tell me what we mean by SDLT? So what do we mean by SDLT? Stamp duty, absolutely correct, guys. So stamp duty, land tax, absolutely, yeah, great. So make sure you're comfortable with, responding to me using the chat box, yeah. So it's stamp duty, land tax, absolutely. So the thing about advanced tax you must remember is it mixes up all the taxes, and many students struggle with this. Okay, so students tend to think along one tax, but remember in the exam, to pass the exam, you have to be able to mix up the taxes. The role you have in the exam is you are a tax advisor giving advice to a client. Okay, so you're not yet a tax partner like someone like me. I would be a tax partner, but what you are is you're a tax senior who understands tax, but you're working in a tax firm giving advice to your clients. And the exam is like solving a puzzle, and you must avoid falling into your examiner's traps by learning the technical rules. So the exam will have lots of traps in it, and it'll be like a puzzle. By the way, guys, do any of you like doing puzzles? Jigsaws, Sudoku, things like that. Does anyone here like doing puzzles? Gabby, Mohammed, Trisha, those guys. Yeah, well done, Jay. Carol is saying she doesn't really like puzzles. Yeah, Taz is saying yes. Zahid saying no, absolutely. So some of us like doing puzzles, some of us don't. Those of you who don't like doing puzzles, remember the advanced tax exam will be like a puzzle. Okay, so you'll have to be able to think clearly on the exam. Now, when you're doing a puzzle, guys, what do you need to do to solve the puzzle? What do you think you need to do? Plan, absolutely, Ahmed. Yeah, you need to plan. You have to organize your thoughts. Thank you, Sheila. Okay, what else, guys? What else? You need to identify the pieces. Carol is saying you have to look at the destination. Absolutely spot on, guys. Now, can you do these things? Can you do these things? Yeah, find the corner pieces, Renata. If you're doing a jigsaw, yeah, find the corners first. Find the goal actor. Absolutely spot on. But can you do these things if you're tense? If you're tense and you can't think, can you do that? No. Okay. So Ami is saying it's very hard. So one thing you have to know is in the advanced tax exam, you have to be, thank you, Trisha, you have to be relaxed, guys. Okay. If you're relaxed, you'll think your way through it and you'll get through the exam. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sana. You have to think outside the box, but you have to be able to think in order to pass the exam. It's very, very time pressured, guys. Okay. It's very time pressured. Take a guess at what percentage of the students do everything, attempt 100% of the exam. Take a guess. How many students do you think? Sahani saying 30, yeah, 38%. Yeah, I think about, yeah, some of you, Gaiva is saying 30%. Yes, so the examiner said probably between 30, Rohema is correct as well, about 30 to 40% of the students actually finish the exam. But about 60% of the students don't actually finish the exam because it's so time pressured, okay? So let's now look at a detailed analysis as to what the exam is, okay? So the exam is 100% compulsory, okay? How long will you have in the exam, guys, by the way? Just to make sure you guys have been paying attention, okay? How long will you have in the exam? 3 hours and 15 minutes, absolutely correct, yeah. So we know all our professional exams are 3 hours and 15 minutes, absolutely. But you have to take 15 minutes to read through section A of the exam. So what the examiner recommends you do is spend 15 minutes reading through section A of the exam, which will be for 40 marks. So let's now take a look at the detail of the advanced tax exam. What you'll get is a 35-mark scenario-based question featuring individuals, okay, such as someone receiving an inheritance and using the money to start a business. So someone receiving an inheritance and using the money to start a business, okay? Like, for example, let's say we've got Carol here in our class. Carol's granddad passes away and leaves Carol, let's say, £500,000 after tax, okay? So what Carol then does is she decides she's going to use that 500,000 to start a business. So that would be a typical exam scenario. Another possible scenario you could have, and this normally comes up in the 25-mark question, would be a group of companies selling or buying a company. Okay, so we could have a group of companies that's actually selling one of their group companies, or alternatively buying a new company and setting up an operation overseas. Now, in terms of selling or buying a company, guys, what kind of implications do you think we would think of if we're thinking of selling or buying a company? Yeah, very good. Yeah, Carol talked about things like the substantial shareholding exemption. Good. James is talking about CGT. So you can see Carol is already preparing for advanced tax. Very good. Zahid talked about the degrouping charge. James is talking about potentially we've got capital allowances. Zahid is talking about VAT. So one of the things I want to show you is the way to understand tax is you must have a certain level of technical knowledge. Okay, so if you don't have the level of technical knowledge, you can't actually think of the areas the examiner wants you to deal with. Absolutely correct. Yeah. So we've got someone here who calls themselves the taxpayer. Excellent. CGT. Absolutely. A CGT. Good. Now, if you set up an operation overseas, for example, we've got some students here from India, okay? And India, we know, is going to be a big superpower in the future. So let's say we decide to set up an operation in India. Can any of you tell me what the 2 types of operations are that we could set up in India? Excellent, very good. We could set up a branch in India, okay? So we could set up a branch in India. Think of the branch as just an extension of the UK company, or we could set up a subsidiary, Renata. That's excellent, yeah. So we could set up a subsidiary in India. Now, let's say the operation in India, those of you from India, you know India is very competitive. Okay, India is very competitive. So when we set up an operation in India, let's say we make losses in India. Are we allowed to take those losses and offset them against our UK profits? What do you think? Yes or no? Okay. Absolutely, yes. So, well, yeah, I'll just admit Matthew here. Absolutely. So interestingly, yeah, but only if it's a branch. Absolutely. Only if it's a branch. Can you see? So remember, when I ask you questions, guys, I'm actually trying to teach you some technical stuff. So if we set up a branch in India, we can offset those losses against our UK profits. But if we set up a subsidiary in India, we can't offset those losses against the UK profits, we're assuming here that the company is resident overseas. Yes, very good. Charandeep said we can make the branch profits exempt by making this branch election as well. The good thing, guys, in the 35-mark question, you'll have 4 marks for presentation and 5 marks for ethics. Okay, so because of this, the examiner always recommends that you do section A first. Yes, Carol, the subsidiary would be a permanent establishment and it would be subject to tax in India. Okay, so all we mean by permanent establishment is you'll be subject to the equivalent of corporation tax in that country. Good. So remember, guys, to pass, to get the 50%, make sure all of you get the 4 marks for presentation and the 5 marks for ethics. So the examiner is giving you 9 marks to help you reach 50%. What about section B then? So once you finish section A, you're then going to do section B. So in section B, do most students do both the 20-mark questions? Yes or no? No, no, no. So what I'm trying to show is if you can do things a bit quicker, yes. In terms of presentation, it's not to make it pretty, Renata. It just means I'll be showing you how to do this. It just means we address it in a professional way. I'll be showing you how to do this a bit later. Yeah, so what I'm showing you is try and do both the questions in section B as well. Okay, so that will put you amongst the top third of the students and you will stand a better chance of passing the exam. So what the examiner will do is he'll give you a 20-mark question featuring individuals. The things he's going to examine are things like close company implications, employment income, or lifetime gifts. Okay, so with close companies, guys, these are companies controlled by how many individuals? How many? 5? Yeah, 5 or less. 5 or less, Remy. Yeah, good, guys. I'm asking you quite technical questions, remember, okay? Good. And with closed companies, if you give a loan to a shareholder, the company has got to pay penalty tax of 32.5%. Okay, so that's the key thing you need to remember. He'll also examine things like employment income, salaries, bonuses, taxable benefits, share schemes, and so on, and lifetime gifts. Now, in terms of lifetime gifts, when you make a gift to an individual, can any of you tell me what the 2 tax implications are? Very good. Chella said it's a pet. Yes, good. It's inheritance tax and capital gains tax. Well done, Zahid. Okay, so remember, guys, you have to think of both inheritance tax and capital gains tax in terms of lifetime gifts. How do you cope with an overseas spouse? Debbie is saying, good, yeah. Just remember, Debbie, that with an overseas spouse, just remember that the interspouse exemption is restricted to 325,000 and is not unlimited. Thank you, Zahid and Chella. Yeah. The other thing the examiner will do is he'll give you a 20-mark question featuring technical areas such as individuals coming to or leaving the UK. Okay, so we could have individuals coming to the UK or leaving the UK. He could tell you we've got someone who's selling a business, and very often he'll give you capital gains. For example, in the December 2020 exam, the examiner gave you lots of exempt assets. Okay, so you had to explain the tax implications of these exempt assets. Now, with section B, what your examiner said is these questions are more straightforward to understand as the examiner explains what he'll be doing at the start of the question. So when you're doing a section B question, it's very important that you read through the start of the question first. Okay, so always read through the start of the question before looking at the requirements. Are all of you finding what I'm covering useful? Are you finding this stuff useful? Yes or no? Yes, yes, absolutely. Good, good, good. Yeah. So remember, I try and give you something of benefit here. Okay. And you'll see that I don't waste time, guys. Okay. So I believe in being quick and to the point. Oh, please go slowly. Hello. You have to, this person who calls themselves a taxpayer, tell me what your name is first. Okay. Okay. You see, we're busy people, guys. We're busy people, so we crack on. Yeah. So we try and cover as much as possible. Yeah. Yes, Bilal, you've got a question on the CBE. I'll be showing you that. Very good. Yeah. Great, guys. So what I now want to do is many of you guys have been asking me, how do I study for tax? Okay, so I'm now going to cover a technical area, And the area I'm going to cover with you is a very important area. It's an area called domicile. Have all of you heard about domicile before? Have all of you heard about domicile? Yes, good. All of you have heard about domicile. So let's now look and see what the key elements of domicile are that you will need. Well, domicile is the country in which the individual has their permanent home. Okay, so domicile is the country in which the individual has their permanent home. So with most of you, I think your permanent home is in the UK, so you have a domicile in the UK. Okay, but when we look at domicile, the important thing we need to understand is there are 4 different types of domicile. So there are 4 different types of domicile. The first thing we've got is domicile of origin. And in terms of domicile of origin, this is acquired at birth from your father. Okay, so in terms of Joseph, let's say with Joseph, his dad was born in the UK. Okay, and as a result of that, when Joseph was born, he acquired a domicile of origin in the UK. Okay. The next thing we've got is domicile of dependency. Domicile of dependency. Now, before the age of 16, if your father changes his domicile, what happens is no, there's no time period rule. Yeah. So Tina, yeah, in Barbados. Oh, Tina's talking about Barbados. Yeah, very good. Yeah, Tina. Yes. In order to file in, no. So here there's no time period. I'll be explaining it to you. Yeah. So Tina, you just acquire your domicile of origin from your dad, but then before the age of 16, you're called a dependent, Tina. So if your dad changes his domicile, you automatically change your domicile. Okay, so Tina, let's assume your dad decided to move to Germany. Okay, so your dad was in Barbados, and then he moved to Germany. Okay, and when your dad moved to Germany, because you're under the age of 16, you're still a dependent. So your domicile will automatically move with your dad to Germany. Just give me a second, guys. So these are now the latecomers, guys. Okay. So these are now the latecomers. Okay. Good. So these guys were so excited on Sunday, doing lots of things. They forgot about our stuff. Okay. But once again, I'll be explaining to you that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to record this on the cloud, and then I'll hopefully share this with you after the meeting. Yeah. Okay. So far we've talked about domicile of origin and domicile of dependency. The next thing we've got is domicile of choice. From the age of 16, you can change your domicile by severing the links with the old country. So severing means cut the links with the old country. Okay. Okay, those of you who are connected with me on LinkedIn, do any of you know of some celebrity who's changed his domicile from the UK to another country? I did a post on LinkedIn today. Lewis Hamilton, absolutely, yeah. So in fact, Lewis Hamilton is now, yeah, well done, Ren. He is now Zahid, Bilal, and so on. You guys know I did a post on this. So he's changed his domicile to Monaco, okay? And because he did this, many people did not want him to get a knighthood, yeah. So one thing is I've written a post on LinkedIn, guys. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because he doesn't want to pay a lot of tax. But what I like you to do is if you can, after the meeting, yeah, like many F1 drivers, absolutely. I've asked you whether you think it's, he should have got a knighthood or whether he shouldn't, okay? So if you don't mind, try and respond to that LinkedIn post, because I'm quite keen on knowing what you guys think. The last thing we talk about here is deemed domicile. Deemed domicile. Can any of you guys tell me what we mean by deemed? What do we mean by deemed? Assumed, absolutely spot on. Albert said treated as, yeah. So one of the things I want to show you is tax is a little bit technical. You do need to have a reasonable grasp of vocabulary, okay? So tax, just be aware of that, yeah, okay. Yes, a very good. So many of you guys are telling me what the rules are. Now, guys, so when you look at this slide here, did all of you find it easy to learn that? How do you think this, how did you find that slide? Yeah, so you see what I'm trying to show you is that when you try and study tax, this is how you should go about learning it. Don't overcomplicate it, okay? So yeah, well done, Matthew. Yeah, Matthew and Gabby, you guys agree with that, absolutely. So let's now look and see what we mean by deemed domicile. And when I talk about deemed domicile, I'm looking at taxes like income tax and capital gains. So individuals are treated as deemed UK domicile in two cases for income tax and capital gains. The first case is if the individual is UK resident for at least 15 out of the last 20 years. So if someone comes to the UK, let's say this person is from Brazil, this Brazilian comes to the UK, like one of the football players, for example. They come to the UK and they stay in the UK for 15 years. What HMRC would say here is despite their domicile of origin in Brazil, they are treated as deemed UK domicile. Okay. In addition to this, if you're born in the UK and your domicile of origin is in the UK, as long as you're UK resident in the current tax year and one of the two previous tax years, then you're treated as UK domiciled in the current tax year. So someone like Lewis Hamilton, you know, the guy we're talking about earlier, he was born in the UK, he has a domicile of origin in the UK, as long as he's UK resident in the current tax year and one of the two previous tax years, HMRC would treat him as deemed UK domiciled for income tax and capital gains. Any questions on this technical slide here, guys? Any questions on that? No, good, okay. Matthew talked about this. It's actually, Matthew, when we sever, when we break our ties to the UK, what HMRC look for is they look to see that you sell your assets in the UK, for example, you give up your UK passport. So the interesting thing is Lewis Hamilton did not give up his UK passport. Okay, he still wanted to be a UK national, but he still managed to change his domicile to Monaco. And what he did is he had to reduce, he sold all his business interests in the UK, and he's got a big house in Monaco. He's just got a small place. Yeah, absolutely. It's not that easy, but you know, you can do it without giving up your passport as well. Absolutely correct. Yeah. So James, yeah, Lewis Hamilton is therefore under the remittance basis. Yeah. Yes, so you've got to be careful about counting the years as well. Absolutely. Yeah. Zahid, yeah, it's in tax, we are always very careful about dates. Good, so what I'd like to do now is to show you an actual exam question, okay? So tax, this is why I love tax so much, because it's about real life, okay? So what we're told here is we've got this lady, she's our client, and what we're told is Dafina was born in Tanzania, okay? And both her parents are Tanzanian. Have any of you been to Tanzania? Anyone been to Tanzania here? No, no. Oh, Carol has been to Tanzania. Yeah. Well, I've been to Tanzania. Yeah. So I'm originally from Kenya. Yeah, yeah. Carol is like me. She's from Kenya. So you know, Carol and I have visited Tanzania. It's a lovely country. They've got Kilimanjaro there. They have one of the best. In fact, they've got probably the best game park in the world, which is the Ngorongoro game park. Yeah. So it's absolutely amazing. Yeah. But these are the things hopefully you guys can do once you've finished your ACCA. You know, you can visit Kilimanjaro and so on. Okay, now because Dafina was born in Tanzania and her parents are Tanzanian, can any of you tell me what domicile we'll talk about there? So looking at the first sentence. Yeah, but what type of domicile, guys? What type of domicile? Not deemed. No, it's not deemed, guys. Domicile of origin. Very good. Yes. So what you would have to do in the exam is you start by telling the examiner, absolutely, thank you, and Kami, thank you, Guyver. Yeah, you'd start by telling the examiner, Defina has a domicile of origin from Tanzania, in Tanzania, that she acquired at birth from her father. The next thing we're told is when Defina was 14, her family moved permanently to the US. Yeah, so Chella, don't go too fast. So we're going through each point. Yeah, so Trusha said now you would start talking about domicile of dependency. Why are we talking about domicile of dependency, guys? What can you tell me about Defina? She's under the age of what? 16. Very good. So what I'm trying to show you is when you're writing your answers, the examiner is trying to examine your tax knowledge. So you have to show him that, okay? So you have to tell the examiner, look, Defina is under the age of 16, so therefore she would acquire a domicile of dependence in which country? So originally she had Tanzania. USA, excellent. Well done, guys. I'm very happy with you. All of you are doing very well. Good. So I want all of you to join in. Yeah. Excellent. Look at Guiver's answer, guys. Okay. So these are the kind of answers the examiner will be looking for. So dependency because she's under 16 and automatically qualifies with the move of her parents to the US. Good. What we're then told is Defina chose to study in the UK. Okay. So she was in the US, but then she decided to come to the UK to study. And upon finishing her studies, she decided she wanted to stay in the UK. So she's now been UK resident for 16 years. So what would you say now, Charandi? Which domicile would you talk about? Deemed domicile, absolutely. Defina has now been UK resident for 15 out of the last 20 years. Very good, guys. Defina would now be deemed UK domiciled. And because she's deemed UK domiciled, can any of you tell me what the implications would be for income tax and capital gains tax? What are the implications for income tax and capital gains? So remember, I'm actually asking you exam standard questions, guys. Very good, yes. Now, the interesting thing, guys, is if, let's say, Defina has got some US income, okay? She's got some US income. Does she have to pay tax on the income in the UK? Yes or no? Yes, because she's now UK domiciled and she's UK resident, okay? Very good. Guiver said she'll be taxed in the US as well. So what can Defina claim in relation to her US tax? Double tax relief. Very good, guys. You're all doing very well, okay? So this is what I'm trying to show you. When you study tax, make sure you're able to understand what's happening, okay? So now I'm showing you what answer your examiner would be looking for in the exam, okay? So this is what the examiner would be looking for. You would have to tell him, Defina has a domicile of origin in Tanzania, which she acquired at birth from her father. When her father moved to the US, he acquired a domicile of choice in the US, as that became his country of permanent residence. Interestingly, some of you forgot to mention domicile of choice, okay? Defina was under the age of 16. Many of you guys got this. And her domicile would change with that of her father's. And she would have a domicile of dependency in the USA. Defina is now US domiciled, okay? But has been UK resident for at least 15 out of the last 20 years. So she's been living in the UK for 15 out of the last 20 years. So would be deemed to be UK domiciled for income tax and capital gains. Okay, so deemed to be UK domiciled for income tax and capital gains. And the implications of this are Defina would be subject to UK income tax and capital gains on her worldwide income and capital gains. Yeah, so Trisha, with something like this, because I've done something quite detailed, I would say something like this should be between 4 to 5 marks. Is that okay? Yeah, but this one I'm trying to show you guys, tax is such an interesting subject, okay? But you must make sure you have the technical knowledge in order to approach the question. No, it could even come up in part A, actually. Yeah, yeah, okay, good. What's your name? This person is calling themselves taxpayer, okay? I find it strange to call you taxpayer. But he said, originally they were saying, he was saying go slowly, but now he's saying he likes the question, okay? Good. So what are the key skills you're going to need in the exam, guys, based on what we covered in Defina? What skills would you need in order to get 50%? Yes, but yeah, technical knowledge. Chela, by the way, her parents moved. You see, her parents moved to the US, so they acquired a domicile of choice there. Yeah. Good time management. Good. You need to be calm, planning. You need to analyze the facts. Very good speed, knowledge, and exam technique. Zayed, in terms of planning, you have to plan quite quickly, right? You don't have time to mess around in the exam, okay? So, this is what I'm trying to show you. You have to be able to think fast. So what I think you need, okay? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. The examiner is looking for the technical terms, okay? Yeah, absolutely. And the examiner does want to trick you as well, which is what I'll come to later. So you need technical tax knowledge, because if you don't have the knowledge, you cannot answer the question. You need analytical ability. You need to be able to understand the question and think your way through the answer. You need written skills, guys, okay? So you need to be able to write. And the reason you need written skills is you have to demonstrate your tax knowledge to the examiner in a concise way. So what you'll be able to see here, guys, is when I write, looking at that, do I sound like a tax expert when I write that? Yes. Okay. So always think, what impression does the examiner have of me from what I've written? So you can see when I write, I am a tax expert. So the examiner would be very impressed with this. Okay. So always think how the person is interpreting what you've said, because they don't know you as a person. Okay. They're forming an opinion of you from the way you've answered the question. And the last thing you need is computational skills. Absolutely. Yeah. You'll need computational skills. Thank you, Chandeep. Yeah. Yes. Well, Chandeep, we talked about worldwide income. Yeah, worldwide income and gains. Okay. So this is not on inheritance tax, Chandeep. This is on income tax and CGT. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can always claim double tax relief, guys. Good. Now, one of the things that's happening in advanced tax is the ACCA have now moved to computer-based exams. Have any of you attempted a computer-based exam yet? Yes, some of you have, many of you haven't. So many students, yeah, it was terrible. People have had lots and lots of problems. Yeah, it's not easy to do. So what I want to do now is to give you some tips to help you do the computer-based exam. So the way to remember what the computer-based exam is it's similar functionality to Word. So just think it's similar to Word, okay? So that's the way to think about it. I'll be telling you guys about the spreadsheet. So this will be the first page of the exam, okay? So what the examiner will do is you'll be given a workspace, and all you do is you just type your answer into the workspace. When you press next, it automatically saves what you've done. So you don't have to be worried about losing whatever you've typed in, okay? You'll be given separate exhibits, requirements, and response options, okay? You can highlight or strike through the text. I don't recommend you strike through, but I do recommend you highlight, okay? You can also copy and paste. You can copy and paste. Now, the two functions I recommend you learn is Control C, which is to copy, and Control V to paste. Are all of you comfortable with Control C and Control V? Yes. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I recommend you learn that. Control C to copy and Control V to paste. So let me now show you what a 35-mark question will look like. So this is what you will see on your screen. Okay. So what you'll see there is the highlighter. You've got a little online calculator. You've got a scratch pad. By the way, guys, I do not recommend you use the scratch pad at all. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I don't recommend you use the scratch pad at all. Okay. So the scratch pad is not marked. Don't use it. Now, what the examiner will then do is he'll give you like a memorandum, an extract from the manager's email. You'll find the requirements in a separate heading. Okay. Now, in terms of response options, you can either use a word processor or a spreadsheet. Now, my recommendation to you in advanced tax is do not use the spreadsheet. Okay. Do not use the spreadsheet. Okay. Yeah. Chela, to be honest with you, I've tried using the spreadsheet. Now, I'm not as good as many of you guys on Excel. Okay. I'm not as good as many of you guys are on Excel, but I did not like using the spreadsheet. So I recommend just use the word processor for everything. Let's say you have to do a computation. How would you do the computation, guys? In the word processor. Table, absolutely. Just do a little table and I'll be showing you how to do this. Okay. Yeah. So do not use the spreadsheet. Yeah. Yeah. I would recommend don't use it at all, Charlie. Yeah. So people who are using it in the last two exams, what they're telling me is it takes too much time. Yeah. With the calculator, you are allowed to use your own calculator if you do it in an exam center. Yeah. The calculator here is good enough. It's not bad. Yeah. So if you're comfortable using the online calculator, the only thing is I recommend you practice with it first. So yeah. Yeah. So just practice using the table. Okay, guys, I want to zone in now. And in terms of the highlighter, you've got 4 colors. Yeah. Kathmandu, now this is a very good point. Yeah. So some of you guys are saying the highlighter did not work. We have recorded your complaints, guys. So ACC have had lots of issues, but they are trying to solve them. Okay. But what you should have is you should have a highlighter with 4 different colors. And what I recommend you do is use different colors for different things. Okay. So for instance, yellow will be the key things. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah. So once again, Gabby, I apologize for this on behalf of the ACCA. Some of the functionality is not that good and they have been having technical problems, but they're trying to sort it out. Okay. They're trying to sort it out because ACCA is now TestReach. This software is made by a company called TestReach, and they're now ACCA is their largest customer. Okay. So when you click, guys, this is what you'll find. Okay. So for example, what we're told here is when you click on that memorandum, what the examiner told you here is that there are 2 clients, Farina and Lada, who have been trading in a partnership. And what they now want to do is they want to sell the partnership as a going concern to a company. Okay, so they're selling the partnership as a going concern to a company. When they sell the partnership to the company as a going concern, from a capital gains tax point of view, can any of you guys tell me which relief they can claim? Yeah, so this is a past exam question, guys. I'm actually talking about some very good Chela. They would claim incorporation relief. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the key thing, you see what I'm saying is that you have to know, yeah, yeah, you would have to know the technical knowledge, yeah, like incorporation relief. Absolutely, yes. So if they take cash from the company, they can get on entrepreneurs relief as well. Chela, you're absolutely spot on. Yeah. So what I'm saying is you open the window and then you start thinking about it. So it's like forming a puzzle. Okay. What you'll then have to do is you have to open up another window and you'd find the manager's email there. So in the manager's email, that would be the requirements. Okay. That would be the requirements. And what you can see here is that actually the first thing the examiner is asking you about is capital allowances. Okay, so capital allowances. So what you'd have to do here is compute capital allowances in the final period of account. Now, in the final period of account, guys, do we get any WDA or AIA? Do we get any WDA or AIA? No, no, absolutely not. But because we are selling our assets, can any of you guys tell me what we're going to get? Excellent, Jala. Yeah, we're going to get either a balancing charge or a balancing allowance. Absolutely correct. So that's what the examiner wanted you to talk about there. Now, with a balancing charge, because this increases our taxable profits, if we do not want a balancing charge, do any of you know what we can do to avoid creating the balancing charge? Okay, so this is quite technical, guys. Okay, very good, Charandeep. Yeah, we can make a succession election. Yeah, okay. So this is what the exam will be like, guys. Okay, so you can see what I'm trying to show you is I've been with you for less than 45 minutes. Okay, but I'm already showing you an actual exam question. Okay, and this is how you need to study. Okay, you're preparing by looking at exam questions. So that's very, very important. Okay, because this is what will happen in March. So those of you who are planning on sitting the exam in March. I now want to show you what the 25-mark question will look like. Oh, by the way, guys, in terms of you setting up your answer, what you then do is you use the word processor. Now, many of you guys will ask me, you're saying, Neil, how come the examiner gives you 4 marks for presentation? Well, the reason he gives you 4 marks for presentation here was he asked you to do a memorandum. So you just headed up memorandum, and this was the answer I started for you. So to, from, reference, and date. How would you know? Absolutely correct. Yeah. But in terms of the presentation marks, Zion, if you head up the memorandum correctly, that means the examiner is going to give you the marks. Okay. So in terms of you using, yeah, if you wanted to do some of the calculations in the spreadsheet, you could call it an appendix. Okay. So did you find that useful? You can say my calculations are in an appendix. Chela, sorry about that. Chela, if you don't mind, I'll answer that question later. Yeah, I'll answer that question later. So Chela's asking me, about different types of things. So at the end of the session, guys, I will stay back and answer any further questions you have. Okay. But as you can see, I'm trying to cover quite a lot of material for you. Yeah. Well, Renata, let me tell you what I recommend. Do not use the spreadsheet at all. Okay, do not use the spreadsheet, and I'll be showing you how to do that today. Okay, you just use the word processor. Okay, so just use the word processor. It's quick and it's got enough functionality for you to do. And I'll show you how we can do a calculation in the 25-mark question. So this is once again the specimen paper from the actual ACCA website. So I'm now showing you the 25-mark question. in the 25-mark question here, we had to do corporation tax. And what the examiner did here, like I told you, the exam is like doing a puzzle. What he did here was he gave you a corporation tax computation. And what you had to do was you had to find the errors in it. Okay? So as I was explaining to Renata here, are we going to do this in a spreadsheet, guys? Are we going to use the spreadsheet? Yes or no? No, you don't have time to use the spreadsheet, guys. It's a time-pressured exam. So all you have to do, that's what I'm trying to show you, all you do is you set up a little table, okay? So you just click on table there, okay? So you click on table, and what you do is you set up a little table in the word processor, okay? So we start off with this figure of tax-adjusted trading income, okay, for example. What the examiner then told you is, with regard to the cost of establishing a company share option plan of £6,000, that was disallowed. Now, is that correct or wrong? What do you think? Is that correct or wrong? Wrong. It's wrong. It's actually wrong. Yeah, because it should be allowed. Can you see? It should be allowed. It should be allowed for tax purposes. Yeah. So what you have to do then is, because that was allowed, we have to deduct it. We have to deduct the cost of the share option scheme. That's an allowable expense. It was not deducted, so we need to deduct it. And then what you do is, in the table, you then write your explanation. So any staff welfare expenses are allowed because they incurred wholly and exclusively for the purpose of trade. Okay. So do all of you guys have a better understanding as to how to do computations in the exam? Yeah. Okay. So you can see how much I've covered with you already. Okay. So I'm showing you how to do a computation. Let's do one more. The next thing we've got there is the cost of entertaining overseas customers. £4,000 was disallowed. Is that correct or wrong? Very good. Excellent. Very good. All of you have said that's correct. So what adjustment? No. Cost of entertaining overseas customers. Yeah, very good. Yeah, James said only staff entertaining is allowed. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do? What's our adjustment? Because that is perfectly correct. Nothing. No. Be careful, Carol. You don't, be careful, Carol, Kathmandu, and so on. Yeah, there's nothing you need to do. Remember, it's like doing a puzzle, okay? So here, with entertaining overseas customers, you say no adjustment. And then, as James said, you tell the examiner only staff entertaining is allowed. So do all of you feel, yes, we can use a manual, yeah. No. Benji, don't get confused about VAT, okay? So remember, if we entertain overseas customers, Benji, we can claim back the VAT on overseas entertainment. Can you see that, James? Yeah, James and Benji. The examiner is trying to trap you. Yeah, that's why he gave you overseas customers, okay? That is a little trap. Yeah, very good, guys, yeah. Yes, so guys, you need to register to on TestReach, okay? And you need to start doing this just like I've done for you. It's not difficult to do, okay? Like when I do my answers now, I'm not even thinking about it, to be honest with you, okay? Okay, guys, let's now do one more exam scenario, okay? So we've got a UK domiciled individual now, okay? And this is a double tax relief exam scenario. So what we're told now is Sarah is UK domiciled and resident, and she's got UK employment income of £30,000. She also received US dividends of 21,000 net of withholding tax of 30%. And what the examiners asked you to do is to explain her liability to income tax and compute her income tax. So in the advanced tax exam, will you also have to do computations, guys? Will you also have to do computations? Yes, absolutely. So you'll have to do explanations as well as computations, but you can do all of them in the word processor, okay? So for the computations, just set up a table. That's all you need to do. Now, because Sarah is UK domiciled and resident, does she have to pay tax on her US dividends in the UK? Yes, yes. Can any of you tell me how much of the dividends will be taxed in the UK? Yeah, but I want an amount, guys. Very good. Yeah, guys, can you quickly gross it up? Quickly gross it up. Use your own calculator, okay? We're all accountants here, guys, okay? I want to see that you can do a simple calculation. So we'll know, Chella, don't make a mistake. We're not going to tax 21,000 in the UK. No, no. Come on, guys, quick. Excellent. Well done, Albert. Okay. So guys, look at Albert's answer. That's what well done, Gabby. Good. Okay. So make sure you can do the calculations correctly. Okay. So 30,000. Very good. Very good. Well done, Albert. So Albert has explained to you guys how to do the calculation. Thank you, Albert. Now, the examiner has not confirmed. Very good, Aska. Well done, Carl. Good. Now you guys are doing well. Okay. So this is what I'm looking for from you. The examiner has not confirmed that there's a double tax treaty between the UK and the US. Are we still allowed to claim double tax relief, guys? Yes, absolutely. So we can claim double tax relief even if there's no double tax treaty. Very good, Gabby. Excellent. We can get unilateral relief. Now, what difference would it make if Sarah did not bring the US dividends to the UK? What difference would it make? Come on, guys. I want everyone to type in an answer. No difference. Excellent. Excellent. So why did the examiner put in the last sentence there? Why did he put in the last sentence? A red herring to confuse you, to trick you. Okay. So this is, yeah, very good. Well done, Jay. Okay. So this is the way he writes his questions. He wants to confuse you. Okay. Excellent. Well done, Carol. Yeah, he was bored, Zahid is saying. Lovely comments, guys. Yeah. So, so what I've shown you here is when you're doing the exam questions, always start with the simple explanations. Yeah, but you must expect that, Renata. Okay, that's what's going to happen in the exam. So you start by getting the simple explanation. Yeah, and he does. Yeah, he wants you to fail, basically. Yeah, but I'm trying to show you how to pass. So Sarah is UK resident and UK domiciled, so she's taxed on her worldwide income. And as I told you, you start by telling her she'll be taxed on the full £30,000. What you then do is you then do a little table in your answer, okay? And you show the examiner how to do this. And what we have to do is tax the other income first, and then we tax the dividends. And notice we're using the correct rate of tax for dividends. So the first 2,000 dividends is taxed at 0%. Some of the dividends falls in the basic rate band, and some falls into the higher rate band. And then we're then doing the double tax relief. Okay. And you also write the explanation there. If Sarah does not bring the UK dividend, the US dividend, sorry, to the UK, to make no difference to her income tax liability. You can see I had a small typing error there. That's what's going to happen in the exam, guys. This is because the remittance election is only available to overseas dividends. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what sort of marks, something like that, you'd be looking at about six to 7 marks there, okay? So you'd be looking at 6 to 7 marks. Now, many people tell me, they say, look, Neil, the problem with advanced tax is there's so much I need to learn. Okay, there's so much I need to learn. I don't have time to learn everything. So what I'm now doing is I'm in the process of preparing an advanced tax condensed notes. Okay, so advanced tax condensed notes, and this will have everything that you need in about 100 A4 pages. Okay, I hope to publish this by the end of March 2021, and this will be based on the Finance Act 2020. Okay, so it'll be available for exams from June 2021 onwards. The cost of the notes, yeah, the cost of the notes will be $99.99, inclusive of postage and packing costs. Okay, so that's what the notes are. So if you're interested in getting these notes, you'll be able to find them on my website. Okay. So I'm doing this because students have told me, like I said, that they, that they can't actually find it. Now, I'm going to try and do regular online seminars like this. Okay. Yes, Zan, but remember, Zan, it's money, but there are also costs involved. Okay. There are lots of costs involved. So I have to cover my costs as well. Yeah. Okay. But in terms of the seminars, like I said, guys, I try and do as much as I can free of charge for you. So my time is free. Okay. So my time is free, but I do have to cover other costs. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, in terms of the next seminar, guys, this is the next seminar I'll be doing on the 23rd of January. And I'll be reviewing the December 2020 advanced tax exam. This will be quite a detailed seminar. Okay. So this will be quite a detailed seminar that I will be doing on that. So if you're interested in that, please make sure you enroll on that. Okay. Any of you that are interested in coming for them, yeah. Now, by the way, guys, those of you who are qualified, you can use my seminars as CPD. Okay. So if you're qualified and so on, you can use my seminars as CPD. So it's continuous professional development. You can record this for ACCA, CIMA, and ICAW. So this is all accredited CPD. Yeah. Yeah. Those of you who are planning on coming for this, please make sure that you download and read through the exam before attending. There will be a small cost to this. The reason I've had to put a cost is just to show you now I've got about 50 students who've actually attended this, but actually we had about 90 students enrolled. Okay. So in order to encourage, yes, absolutely, Carol, anyone can buy them once they're ready. But I'm with regard to, I'll be doing free seminars, but with things like this, I will be putting a small cost on to cover admin costs and to encourage attendance. Okay. Because I feel if you pay some money, it may be a small amount, like £10 is nothing, guys. Okay. It's the cost of a pizza. But yeah, absolutely. But at least if you pay, many of you guys will come. Okay. I find when people don't pay for something, they don't really look at it. Okay. Okay, guys. What I like to do now very quickly is I'd like you to do a quick quiz. Yeah, it's just getting some feedback on this. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to do that. Okay. So once you view the questions, just pick an answer. And this will then help me decide what I'm going to do in the future. Okay, so I just assure you guys, in terms of the tax you find most difficult, In terms of the tax, you guys find more difficult. Most of you find corporation tax, okay? So interestingly, most of you find corporation tax and inheritance tax more difficult. So I'll bear that in mind for future seminars. The next question I've asked is, would you be happy to pay £10 to cover the admin fees? Yes, yeah, I mean, this is going to go ahead, yeah, whether there's, because they're online, you see, they're online. Would you be happy to pay £10 to cover admin fees? 77% of you have said yes, 20% of you say no. So I will try and do some free seminars for those of you who can't, who are not prepared to pay the £10, guys. But just remember, I do have to cover costs as well, okay? So I do have to cover costs. My time I'm giving you is free, but I do have costs, okay? I have to pay Zoom, I have to pay Eventbrite, I have to get a design to design the stuff and so on. In terms of the length of the seminar, actually quite a few of you want a 2-hour seminar, okay? So yeah, so on average, most of you want a 2-hour seminar. So guys, if you don't mind, with some of your specific questions, I'm going to answer them at the end, okay? If that's okay with you. Yeah, so on average, okay, I'm going to try and make the seminar between 1.5 to 2 hours going forward. Is that okay? Yeah? Yeah, so I'm going to try and make it, yeah, I'm going to try and make them between 1.5 to 2 hours going forward. I think 2 hours is a bit long because some of you guys, like if you think I've only been with you for 1 hour so far, yeah. So 1.5 to 2 hours going forward. I've asked you, would you like to receive seminar handouts? Yes. So you can see, guys, yeah. So many of you guys want handouts. By the way, would you like to have a cloud recording of the seminar as well? Yes. Now, guys, those of you who want all this, remember they are costs incurred. Okay, they are costs incurred. So I can't actually do everything free of charge. You see, I have to cover some costs. So just be aware that if you want a lot of these things, they may be a small cost incurred. I'm not making any money from this. £10 is just going to cover my costs, guys. Yeah. So just be aware that I might going ahead. So if I just show you what the results are. Yeah, so corporation tax is the big tax you guys want help with. Most of you guys are prepared to pay £10. Some of you guys, most people want 2 hours, so I'll try and do 1.5 to 2 hours. And all of you would like the handouts. Great. Okay. Now, a final resources and final questions. If you visit my website, you'll find there are free study exam guides and articles available for you. Okay, so there's lots of stuff available for you completely free of charge. You can attend my online seminars. Okay, like I said, I'll try and make some of them free, but what I'll try and do is I'll try and do a revision one free. Okay, after the next one. But the next one, I'm going to charge £10 for that because I have to cover some costs. Please connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter for free resources. And lastly, any questions? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, of course. No problem. Yeah. I also write lots of articles on PQ Magazine, guys. I try and keep it simple. I share all the articles with you through my website and so on. Okay. Okay, guys, so I've actually covered the key bits I'm looking to cover, okay? Before I finish off, guys, I want to answer any questions. So in terms of me teaching online, guys, I am a Kaplan tutor, okay? So I'm a Kaplan tutor. I teach at Kaplan, London, okay? That's the way I am, okay? So yeah, so if you want to join my courses, you have to go to Kaplan, basically, yeah. So Cal's in my class tomorrow. Great. Yes, but I would like to answer any questions you have now, guys. So if you've got any specific questions, yes, well, I'm doing my Kaplan course tomorrow. Yeah. Yes, Charandeep, yeah, you can, guys, you can, by the way, guys, yeah, by the way, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, okay? Connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the main platform, professional platform I use. And, just send me a question, I'll respond to you, okay? Yeah, if you give me a bit of time, guys, obviously I've been busy doing this presentation. I will confirm everything later. So that brings us to the end, guys, if there are not any further questions. Okay, so I've got a question here so once again, those of you who have not got any questions, it's been a pleasure meeting you. I'd like to wish you all the very best in the exam. Shaista, don't worry, I'll confirm the LinkedIn. But what I'm going to do is stay back and answer any questions, okay? My pleasure, guys. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and I wish you all the very best in the future. I'm going to stay back and answer some questions. If you want to stay, you can. If not, you can log off. I will try and send the cloud recording to everyone, okay? So I'll try and send the cloud recording to everyone, yeah. Do you teach taxation basics? Unfortunately not. Yeah, I'm actually quite a high level tax tutor. So, I teach the advanced stuff, yeah. But by the way, I will, in my condensed notes, I will include all the stuff that you need for the first tax paper as well, okay? So you'll have enough there for you to pass taxation and advanced tax, okay? So when I'm preparing that, those notes, which should be ready by the end of March, it'll have everything in there. Benji, great. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Benji. Great stuff, guys. Yeah, so I've got a question here from Abdul. Abdul says, is it sensible to sit the tax exam for March since the syllabus changes in June? Abdul, I can reassure you on those grounds, there are not going to be major changes from March to June, okay? In addition, I will be doing an online seminar explaining what the new bits are that are coming into the exam. So I'll be doing that after March. Is that okay, Abdul? Yeah, so I will cover that. Overseas aspects, changes to Brexit. Renata, that's a good question. The major changes actually with regard to the UK leaving the common markets is the fact that it'll have VAT implications, okay? So it will have VAT implications, how we account for transactions with EU VAT registered businesses, for example. But what the ACCA is going to do, they're not going to deal with that with regard to Finance Act 2020, okay? So it will come in from 2022 onwards, okay? Okay, Carol, yeah, you can ask me any questions. Yeah, Abdul, my notes will have all the assumed tax knowledge in it, okay? Everything. Because to be honest with you, with advanced tax, I would say at least 25% of the advanced tax exam is based on the first tax paper, okay? So if you're very strong on the first tax paper, there's 25 marks available to you. Yeah, you're okay to leave, Charandeep. It's done. Yeah, I'm just answering questions anymore. Yeah.
You're done.
Sorry, I've got someone here. Hello? Great. Yes, of course, Mohammed. Yeah, of course, yeah. So this is the way I teach. Those of you who've mentioned who've been to my classes, you know that if you live in Manchester, you can enroll with Kaplan. If you just call them tomorrow, they would enroll you. Okay, but just tell them that you want the tax you want the course that I'm doing tomorrow. So you might join, they'll be open from 8 o'clock anyway, okay? Sorry, I don't understand that. The summary and everything will be, the summary notes will be available on my website, okay? So the summary notes will be available on my website. Am I teaching any weekend? Unfortunately, for the March exam, I'm just teaching the weekday course, guys, okay? But don't worry, Kaplan has got lots of other good tutors. Yeah. Yeah, the course is online, guys. The course is online. It'll be just like this, okay? So those of you on my course tomorrow, I'll be seeing you just like this, okay? Yeah, Asa, you can see my website name here, Asa. It's neildecosta.co.uk. Absolutely, Abdul. So Abdul, hopefully, you can see the way I teach, and you know, I help thousands of students pass advanced tax. Yeah, so hopefully I can do the same for you. Okay, great, guys. Been a pleasure meeting you. So we're now going to wind down. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and all the best for 2021. Okay, so I will try and send you the notes, as well as put up a cloud recording. Yeah, all the best, guys. Pleasure meeting you.